stage.
Well, thanks so much, Haley. First of all, thanks for the introduction, but thank you for the summit that you put on twice a year. It is always amazing and always so informational, but it's also like just a great way to meet new people or reconnect with people that we haven't seen for a little while, as I see some of those out there as well. So that's really great and really helpful. And thank you so much. And as Haley mentioned, I'm about holistic, right? I'm a mindset abundance coach, so I work a lot with people on mindset, but I have a background in corporate America. So I spent 30 plus years in corporate America in the C-suite, managing clinics and healthcare. And so I have that background as well. And so I think it gives me a little different perspective on things, right? Because I've been an entrepreneur for 4.5 years now. Solopreneur, and I work with entrepreneurs, small and mid-sized businesses, and then I work with leaders in organizations as well. And I really find that to be my calling, because I think when we are living at our highest vibration, our highest level of energy, we can't help but lift up those around us. And so it was on a group this morning, and we were talking about that's really not just that means that self-care isn't really just a nice thing or something that falls at the end of our day. It's really an obligation that we have to take care of ourselves so that we can be the best we can be, which also then raises up the energy of all of those around us. And so today I want to share with you a little information on abundance. I'm going to share my screen and get that there. And some tools for accountability and how we, because that's the thing about mindset and accountability and manifesting, right? I'm a big believer in manifesting, that we have to be able to see it before we can actually accomplish it. And so manifesting is a big piece of that, but it is a piece of that. If we sit all day and we just think about it, or we make our vision board and put it up and we don't do anything more, nothing's going to happen. So we actually have to have some action steps behind our manifesting. So it includes both of those things, right? And so I think we have to be living our values. And so I always start with my clients working from your values. And I think we often don't take the time maybe to actually be very intentional about identifying what our values are. And values are really those things that are the line in the sand, right? That you can't do without, won't live without, won't cross. So we often think of it as, I won't do this. But if you reverse that and think, this is what I have to have, and it's often what's driving your business, right? So maybe you've identified that, I want to buy a new car. I want to have a boat. I want to have an airplane. That's what you want, but what's really driving that is, I want to have freedom to be able to come and go when I want, right? I don't want to have to hustle at the airport. So I want the freedom and the time to be able to come and go when I want. Maybe you're saying, I want to have $10,000 months. I want to have $100,000 months. Those are your goals, but the real reason that you want them are the values of, I want to spend more time with my family, or I want to take my kids on a trip, or I want to be able to build memories. So being able to have the values and identify those behind the goals that you're building really cements those goals for us, as well as really keeps us on track when those goals become sometimes when we struggle with it, right? When we reach a plateau, or we find that we're in a place where we're struggling with that. So as I'm trying to get slideshow here, just a sec.
If you hit the little TV looking thing in the lower right-hand corner of your thing next to the 0 to 86%, there, it'll actually put you automatically into presentation mode on the bottom bar of the browser of your PowerPoint.
Okay.
Oh, it's kind of like a TV icon, but it's like a thing with a line and a cross almost at the bottom. You're almost there.
You can. Oh, that wasn't it.
Oh,
Oh, here. No. I should just be able to.
hit presentation mode.
From the beginning. There.
There you go.
Beginning. There we go. Okay, there we go. So back up a minute.
There it goes.
So working from your values and tools for accountability. So when we're working from our values, as I said, that's what often brings us back or helps us get back on track or even keeps us on track when we're working towards those goals. So what are some tools? And that's what I'm going to share with you today, some tools that can help us to be accountable. I'm a big believer also that somebody else can't hold you accountable, right? As a coach, I always believe you have everything you need within you. I'm here just to help you discover that, to provide tools, and help you grow and be the best you can be, but it's already there within you, and we're just helping you uncover that. And so holding somebody else accountable really isn't possible. I can be there for them. I can remind them, right? I can do all of those things, but I can't hold them accountable unless they choose to do that. So if you choose to be accountable, if you have something that you're trying to accomplish and you want to stay on track for that, I'm going to share some tools today that will help you with that. And when we use our 5 senses, the more senses that we use, the more it is embedded with us, right? The more it becomes a part of us, the more triggers there are for us to come back to that. And so that's why it's important for our accountability to build in those senses whenever we can, as much as we can, with whatever we are doing. So the 5 senses, just as a reminder, are sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. So again, the more senses that are involved, the greater the impact. And back in the day when I first went to college, I was going to be a elementary ed preschool teacher. So some of you, many of you may know of Montessori schools. So Montessori schools are really based on this as well. They use senses to teach new concepts to children, mainly children. So it only makes sense that we use our senses when we are trying to achieve something new or something greater than what we're already doing. So I'm going to invite you just to consider a goal or a value that you can focus on. That if you, if you are able to achieve that, accomplish that goal, it would have the biggest impact on your life. So think about a goal that you have right now, maybe for the 4th quarter, right? We start 4th quarter really here in a couple of days. So what would be a goal that if you achieve that goal would have the biggest impact on your life? I'm just going to ask you to focus on that for a moment. And now imagine your 5 senses. And what will you associate this goal or value with, right? So first of all, if you thought of a goal, you keep that in your mind. Let's tie that back to your value that is really driving that. Like I said, if your goal is to, in the last quarter, to hit 100,000, what's really the value that you want from that, right? What is it that will give you, that you're striving for, that will give you freedom, that will give you additional time to spend, that will give you the ability to take a trip or to go visit somebody that you want to see or a place that you want to see, or it will give you the freedom to donate to a charity or to start another new business or anything, whatever it is, I'd ask you to consider what this goal actually ties back to for a value. And once you have that, what are you willing to commit to? Okay. So that's a really big question, because we have a lot of ideas out there sometimes, right, Tiff? Yeah, I can see you there. Right. We have a lot of big things out there that we have kind of roaming around in our head that maybe we want to commit to. And yet we don't fully commit to something. Tiff says, yeah, I want to do it all right now. Yes, we do, right? And yeah, I want to get it all done. And you know what? That's part of abundance. We absolutely can't have it all, but we have to be able to work towards it, right? So what are the steps that we're going to take? And how are we going to stay accountable to that, right? How are we going to stay accountable, prioritize to all of those things that we want? That's what abundance mindset is about. It's about understanding that we do have it all. And Annie talked about, all of the things that we do as well. She's very multi-passionate and has all of these things. And you can do that. But we also have to bring back into what we're willing to commit to. Are you willing to give up one thing to be able to do another? No, I seem to have a frozen screen. Isn't that lovely? I'm going to stop sharing just a second, guys. Sorry. See if I can't get this to move just a bit. Let's see if it'll go now. Well, that's all right. We don't really need. I often don't use PowerPoint anyway, use slides, but it does help to keep me on track. So you guys will pull me back, I'm sure, if I start wandering off too far. So when we think about that, again, think about those 5 senses and what we're willing to commit to. But I'm gonna invite you to think about that goal one more time and to think about that value. And then let's tie that to your senses, right? So let's tie that goal. So for example, that goal, let's say it was a financial goal, and it was a goal to make 100,000 by the end of the 4th quarter. And so really what you want from that goal is maybe to buy a new home. Or maybe to remodel the home you're in. You're gonna remodel your home. And so your vision board, right, is going to show pictures of your new home. That's your site. So you're going to use your site. And that's the most common sense that we use. I'm a very visual learner. So if you're a visual learner too, you know that, right? We use graphs and we use pictures and all of those things. Yes, you have to commit to giving up something. Maybe you have to commit to giving up something, at least for a while, right? But you have to commit to something better. So what can you say no to so that you can say yes to something else, right? So if you're saying no to a project at this point in time, right? You're approached about doing something, and you really have to stop and ask yourself, first of all, does this align with my values, right? And if it doesn't, then that's an easy no. It should be an easy no. But some of us have trouble saying no, right? I'm a recovering people pleaser. I think you're always recovering. So if you have trouble saying no, make sure that you understand that saying no to something allows you to say yes to something better. So if those things, if something does come up and you're saying no to that, that allows you to say yes to something better. So does it fit with my values? So if it fits with your values, does it fit then with the goal that you have for the next 90 days? Right? Is it going to fit in with my goal, or is it going to detract me and distract me from the goal that I want to reach? Right? So things to consider when we're deciding to say yes or no to a request that comes to us. And that can be anything. That can be, I need somebody to help me at church with this, or my family says I need you to do X, Y, and Z, or somebody approaches me about a new project or something they want me to help them with for my profession. Then I have to decide those things. And so first of all, does it fit with my values? If it does, then does it help me reach my goal that I have set for the next 90 days? Now, being perfectly transparent here, I will tell you that I have not always done that, right? I have said yes to things that didn't really fit into the puzzle that I was putting together for my next 90 days. And sometimes those things that are put in front of us are really for a reason that we are moving in a different direction. And that's an entirely different thing. And that requires us to be really intuitive and in touch with our inner self, right? So don't just automatically say no, but to be true to those values and to that inner voice within you to say yes or no. So using your visual, your sense of sight, your vision is the most common sense that we use, right? For learning and for moving forward. So the vision board, the pictures of things up around, putting them on a calendar, little sticky notes, whatever it is that you need for reminding you and keeping that in front of you. That's a great way to do that. But what do we do about the other senses? What about our sense of smell? Are we able to incorporate that into the goal that we're working on? So let's say, go back to that example of, I want to remodel my house. What would a sense of smell? Anybody have thoughts about that? Would you like to type something in the chat, or come off of mute and just join? Do you have thoughts on how would I incorporate my sense of smell?
I would.
Exciting. Tiff, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I think it's so amazing. Like, if you smell delicious chocolate chip cookies, it could take you back to something like magical. Or if when my mom has a roast in the oven, it's just stuff like that. And also just like I love essential oils too, like cinnamon or peppermint, or just stuff. It's amazing how scents can like take you quantum leap, like stuff to. It gets exciting because it's like your brain will bypass all the ooh, smell, ooh, good things. So that's just what I was thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And while our sight is, our vision is our most common sense that's used, the sense of smell evokes the most memories, right? So like you said, that roast is in the oven, or those warm chocolate chip cookies. For me, my mom loved lilacs. And so whenever I smell lilacs in the spring, that makes me think of her again. So it evokes the most memories for us. So how might we build that into our goals to help us keep us accountable, right? My mom loves lilacs too. I love that. I love food. Yes, we all love food, right? So that's a good one. So an example of how we might do that, right, is let's remodeling the house. I'm going to remodel the house. That's the one I was using, right? So if I'm remodeling my kitchen, maybe it's the smell in the kitchen, like you said, of a roast. Oh, I have a new stove now. Or maybe it's the smell just of the nice, clean kitchen, or that fresh linen smell if you're, remodeling your bedroom. So tie it with a scent of something, right? Tie your goal with a scent. The scent of money, right? Isn't that is that a movie or a song, or what is that? The smell of money. Anyway, so tie that with a scent of something. And you'd be really surprised how when you do that, it really is a trigger for you then to kind of get back on track with that. And then remember to surround yourself with that, right? You're going to have those pictures on your vision board. You're going to have that scent somehow that's going to bring that to your memory and bring it back to you. You're going to have a sense of touch, right? So the sense of touch might be like the kitchen countertop, right? It's smooth, maybe it's marble, maybe it's Carrara, and so it's smooth and it's cool. Maybe it's your kitchen and it's warm and inviting. Whatever a sense of touch can bring you. Again, maybe your bedroom and it's the soft sheets or just a warm, cozy blanket. But it's a sense of touch that you're going to be able to feel that's going to bring that back to you when you hear that or when you touch that. So then we have a sense of hearing, right? What do you think you would hear in your goal? So just pause and think about that for a moment. In your goal, whatever you chose that to be, what do you think your sense of hearing might be? Is it a song? Is it the buzzer on the kitchen stove? Right? Is it your kids running through the house, laughing in the, through the house, or grandkids? Crisp, clean sheets. Stephanie says, yeah. Birds. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And you hear the birds. Loves the idea of sense to help. Yeah. Right. So consider, I just invite you to consider your goal. And again, what might you hear that's going to remind you of your goal? And pick something that's going to bring you back to that. Grandson's laughing, right, Diane? I know, isn't that just like, there's a little video of a baby laughing, and whenever I hear that, it's just like, you can't help but smile, right? And then when you hear your own grandkids, it's like, you can't help but just love that sound, that laughter of kids and of grandkids. So yeah, and if you can, record that sound, right? We all have little apps on our phone. Record that sound of your grandson's laughing. I love the beach. I have a recording of the beach that I made when we were traveling somewhere. And so I'll play that sometimes. My daughter, bless her heart, I love her to death. And she gave me this necklace has like little sound waves, but it's actually my grandchildren saying, I love you, Grandma. I love you, Grandma. Oh, so I play it like daily because I just like love it. But anything that you record or that you listen to, that even just for like, 30 seconds, it's going to bring you back to your goal, your values, and why you're doing the goal that you want, ties back to your values. Again, ties back to, the happy times in the kitchen with your grandkids, the grandsons laughing, right? So, oh, thank you, Annie. This is amazing. So, see, I knew I'd get off track. So we've done sight, smell, touch, hearing, and our fifth sense.
Taste.
And our fifth sense, which is, what am I missing?
Did you say taste?
Taste. There we go. Thank you. Whoever said that. Taste. The sense of taste. Yes. So there we go. There's our last one. The kitchen would be easy, right? For taste. What is your sense of taste for the kitchen? Again, that roast in the oven, the warm chocolate chip cookies. Maybe it's not the kitchen. So maybe it's a different taste. Maybe it's like you said, it's spending time with your grandkids. So it's the taste of ice cream when you took them to the ice cream parlor, or it's just the taste of the cool wind, the breeze when you're outside, right? You can literally taste that some days. The warm sun, the humid air when you're at the beach, and that air is so heavy and salty and warm, you can literally taste it. So I invite you to consider a taste that will remind you, that will bring you back to the goals that you have set, the goals that you were considering today. Taste of the ocean when you're swimming in it, right, Daphne? Yes, and that salty taste when you get it in your mouth. Yeah. Daphne says, I have my purpose, vision, values, and goals recorded and listen to them each day. That is amazing. That is awesome. Yeah. You're rocking it, girl. That is an awesome tip. Record those in your own voice and then listen back to them each day. That is awesome. So, you listen back to them, you post them on your mirror, you say them out loud. All of those things are all of the senses that we're using to bring those back to us. That's an awesome way. I'll have my clients do that too, and it makes a huge difference. I'm sure it does. The taste of fresh veggies and strawberries from my garden. Oh, that's a great one too. I love to garden too, and my grandkids, a couple of them in particular, love to garden with me. And one of my grandsons will eat anything straight out of the garden. Like he'll just break off the asparagus and eat it straight from the garden. It doesn't matter. So, and it's fine. We do organic gardening. It's not like there's anything, but they love to help with that. And they love to help plant too. So it gets back in the touch of, planting in the dirt, the feel of the cool dirt when you're putting plants in, all of those things that bring us back to that. So having ideas, having all of the different senses in our mind that we've identified and we tie with our goals can help us be accountable to achieving those goals, right? Can help us stay on track when it might seem like we hit a plateau or that maybe something got in our way. It can really help to bring us back to that. And so I really appreciate that you're here and sharing your ideas with us today as well. And one of the things that I want to share with you before we go is, along with having our senses and using those and identifying those and being very intentional about it, right? So not just thinking about it here today as we're doing this, but I really invite you to write those down, to be intentional about it, and to use those. And we all do that very differently, right? And we all communicate that very differently. And so also I want to pull into that our communication styles and how we do that. And so my freebie offer for you today is really a quiz that, and I will put the link here in the chat. And it is a mindset quiz, an abundance mindset quiz on how we communicate. How we best like to communicate, I guess. So we all have all of the communication styles, again, within us. However, we have ones that we're most comfortable with, right? And so we have ones that we fall back on, if you will, because we're most comfortable with them and we use them more frequently. And so this is just a fun little quiz. It's not very long, and it will give you feedback for yourself on your style. And they all use names. So it will come back and give you the name of, like, if you're driven Drew or you're independent Andy. It has different gender neutral names for each type. It's based on DISC, which, if you're familiar with the DISC communication styles, but it's expanded from that. So there's the free little quiz you can take. And if you take the quiz and you reach out to me, I will also give you the free workbook that goes along with that. And we can do a little session on that if you'd like. So yeah, they're just, I think, really fun. You can also use these if you have clients of your own. So I use them with my clients because I really want to help my clients achieve their best outcome as effectively and efficiently as possible. So we all do this with our clients, right? We get to know our clients really well, and we get to know what works best for them and how to communicate best with them. I like to use, if you're a people person or you're a numbers person, right? So as a coach, if you're a numbers person, I want to make sure that you get data that supports what we're doing. If you're a people person, you're going to want stories and outcomes of people, their stories that they've had of great outcomes and how that has worked for them. So really knowing how they like to get their information communication helps us get to their outcome quicker and more effectively and efficiently. And so we go through that. I go through that with my clients, helping them to, again, just reach their outcomes better and faster. And so we can all be at our highest goals. And so I'm going to leave that posted there. I'll make sure you have that as well, Haley. I'm sorry, I don't know if I sent that to you. And then if you take the quiz and at the end of the quiz, you can connect with me. I will send you that free workbook and I will send you an opportunity for us to go through those things together if you would like to, so that we can learn more about that. And
That's amazing.
yeah. So
Thank you.
I think that is my time. I don't know if I was supposed
That
to.
is your time. Yep. You are good. You are